A lot of people have been praising the Thorbolt X1 as an incredible value smart lock for Apple Home. It talks to Apple Home over Thread, supports Apple Home Key, is super fast in my experience, and currently retails for $130 here in the US. So what's not to love? In this video, I want to go through my installation experience and using this lock now for about a month and cover the places where I think this lock really shines and where it might not be the one you're looking for. And thanks to SleekPoint, makers of the Thorbolt, for sending me 2 of these locks to test for this video free of charge with no strings attached. This video is not sponsored. Taking this lock out of the box, you are met with how decidedly plastic it is. Later on, I realized how it actually looks pretty good from a distance on your door, but close up, it is very much a cheap plastic lock. The lock comes in 3 finishes: black, gray, and silver. SleekPoint sent me the black and silver finishes. The box also mentions a gold finish, but I haven't seen that for sale. The silver finish is my choice, but it doesn't really match the common brushed nickel finish you might be trying to match here in North America. If trying to match brushed nickel long term, you might just choose the black finish, since black just goes with basically anything. If you follow the channel, you might know that I recently got a new front door so I can bring you better smart home lock videos as part of this channel. I had the door installed by a service offered by the place where I bought the door, and in the process, I needed to leave them with a deadbolt to put on the door. I picked this one, and looking at the initial installation, I saw no problems. But then, as I took the deadbolt off to paint my door, I noticed they had put 2 extra holes in my front door that I needed to patch with plastic wood before painting. This lock comes with 2 lengths of long screws. The silver ones are meant to hold the deadbolt together inside the door, and the black ones are meant to attach the interior part of the smart lock to the back metal plate. My installer got these maybe mixed up and ended up drilling holes in my door behind the metal plate to get the silver screws, the longer ones, to fit into it. I don't necessarily fault SleekPoint for this. They made the screws different colors, and I haven't heard of any other reviewer on YouTube hitting this problem. I don't think I would have either when installing this lock, but I've installed lots of smart locks at this point. Either way, keep this detail in mind installing the lock and point it out to anyone who might be helping you put the lock on. After painting the door, I reinstalled this lock properly and had no issues. For smart home setup, you use the SleekPoint app and add it to Apple Home from there on your iPhone. This is also where you'll install firmware updates for the lock, which might be right there during installation. SleekPoint also puts a HomeKit code sticker on the outside of the plate for your door. I love keeping a HomeKit or Matter code on any device, as it's a low-tech way to have one. If you lose this code, good luck setting it up if it ever needs to be reset or moved to a new home. But putting it on the outside of the lock looks bad. I would prefer it to be on the inside of the plate. This is easy enough to do yourself though. Behind this plate are 8 AA batteries that power the lock. That's a lot of AA batteries. On the front of the lock, there's also a physical keyhole. The lock comes with 2 physical keys for unlocking the door the old-fashioned way. There's also a little flap on the outside of the lock. The construction feels a little flimsy, but I like how it makes the front look sleek. Press in on the raised bumps and it reveals the physical keyhole along with a USB-C port. I'm guessing this port is to give the lock power in the event it's out of battery and you're locked out, but perhaps there are more uses for it I'm not aware of. The keypad is really great on this lock, to the point where it might be my favorite keypad on a smart lock. The biggest downside is that it's hard to find. It's hidden when not in use because the numbers are turned off. When you want to enter a code, tap on the keypad and wake it up and the numbers will illuminate. Then you enter your code and hit the checkmark button. When you unlock the door from the inside, the lock icon appears in the bottom corner, and you can tap that to lock the door on your way out. On your way back in, the fingerprint sensor is yet another way to unlock this door. You need to add and manage fingerprints in the SleekPoint app. It walks you through the process of tapping the fingerprint sensor multiple times, and when you add a fingerprint, it also encourages you to add a passcode along with it. But it's not required. You can add up to 50 people in the SleekPoint app, which equates to a maximum number of 100 PIN codes and 100 fingerprints, I guess. I haven't tested this myself, and I don't think most people will hit that limit. You can also manage PIN codes in the Apple Home settings for this lock. These include all the home key lock codes you've given to other locks in your home. If you give these codes a useful name, you'll see the name listed in the Apple Home security logs for unlocking the door. You can toggle on or off individual PIN codes in Apple Home that you want to apply to this lock. You can also invite guests to your Apple Home with restricted access, but that's a topic for another video. One other detail to note is that Apple Home is the only option that works for programming this lock when away from your house. To use the SleekPoint app, you'll need to be in your home. As far as performance, this lock is super fast. It's everything good you'd expect from a thread accessory with quick response time. The motor itself is also fast, making for extra snappy locks and unlocks. You'll of course need an Apple Home hub like a HomePod or HomePod Mini or a high-end Apple TV somewhere not too far from this lock to let the thread connection link to the rest of your smart home. But that would also be true with a lot of Bluetooth smart locks you might want to use with Apple Home. And we all know Thread is a better wireless protocol for smart home tech than Bluetooth. Home key unlocking is also super fast. The NFC sensing area is above the keypad, not behind the keypad like many locks, but once you know the placement, it's not a problem. Something that is a problem for me is auto locking. By default, this lock will automatically relock shortly after unlocking it. You can customize this delay now with firmware updates up to 30 minutes. The problem is for families like mine. We like to leave the front door open for periods of time when we're home, just using the storm door to separate the outside. Then the auto lock leaves the deadbolt extended out from the door. Then the kids bump the door back into the deadbolt and it slams against my nice new door frame. This is all because auto lock doesn't know if the door is shut. It is possible to implement another kind of auto locking yourself in Apple Home, as long as you have a door sensor. Let's say if the door shuts, then lock the door. Or if we leave home, then lock the door. But because this lock doesn't support Matter, we can't use an additional platform like Homey or Aqara to make more advanced automation and auto locking conditions. Or maybe even Matter binding with a contact sensor. I'm getting ahead of myself. But overall though, I find the practical performance of locking and unlocking to be among the best. This lock offers a lot of features and works with Apple HomeKey. If you can get past the all plastic construction and the larger size, it looks pretty good on your front door. One other thing to be aware of is that SleekPoint is a small company relative to Slage and Kwikset or even Level or Nuki. SleekPoint currently has 2 products. Recent firmware updates to both SleekPoint locks are a sign that they are committed to these products though, but with no recurring revenue, I hope SleekPoint is able to stick around for many years to come and grow into a much bigger company. Technically, the company doesn't need to be in business though for this product to work with Apple Home. That's the beauty of it. You're not reliant on any cloud services, but don't expect a 1-800 phone support number or manufacturer warranty. Regardless, it's an amazing lock from SleekPoint worth your attention. Speaking of worth your attention, subscribe to my Sunday Scene newsletter, where each week I'll send you 3 things worth your attention in the world of Apple and smart home tech. And check out this playlist I have of smart lock reviews linked on the screen. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.